call to order the regular monthly business meeting of the Avery County Board of Commissioners, June the 1st, 2026. Commissioner Alden, would you lead us in prayer, please?
Lord, we thank you for every day that you bring, for your love and mercy to us. We thank you for this beautiful place in which we live and the people that live here every day. Lord, we just pray that what we do here tonight would be through your wisdom, that you would guide us in the correct decisions, that everything we say and do would be honorable and glorifying to you. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
3.2A, proclamation awards, is that right? Okay, we'll go to 3.2B, public comment. And we have nobody signed up for that. 3.2C, public comment on agenda items. We have nobody signed up for that. Move on to 3.2D, Board of Corporate Review Officer Planning and Inspection. And that is Ms. Katie Ingram will be the review officer on that, and we need a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
So at 3.2E is public hearing, that's at 6:30, so we'll move on to 3.3, County Commissioner staff items, opioid settlement voucher committee funding recommendations for Sarah Price.
Thank you, Commissioners. Hello, everybody. It's so lovely to be with you again. Thank you for having me back and trusting me to lead you in this yet again for another year. I have some good news, or if that's how you want to take it. When it came to fiscal year 26-27, the applicants that applied for funding for the upcoming fiscal year are the same 6 nonprofits that applied and received funding for last fiscal year. So you've seen all of them before. They've been doing programming for a minimum of a year now. They've been doing progress reports. Those that are still technically in their first year of funding that won't end until June, we technically have not received their final reports yet because of course their grants have not ended, but those will be due within 60 days of the end of the grant. June 30th of course is the last day. We are aligning again with the fiscal year for the upcoming fiscal year in terms of a schedule. So those are kind of sort of just my overviews. I will go ahead and give you a couple numbers, so if you want to get your pen ready, if you're interested in writing these down. Of the 6, just so that you're not doing math while I'm giving you an overview, of the 6, if you were to approve them all for the full funding request, it would be $265,000. That would be, like I said, that's all 6. I am going to go over your advisory committee, which of course is a 7-member committee that the Drug Crisis Roundtable helps to elect and basically request their volunteer service for this committee. That committee has met twice and has put forth some recommendations. I'm not presenting those to you officially today, of course. But I am going to go ahead and give you those numbers so that way when I come back to you later this month for a second meeting, hopefully we can go ahead and do the official authorizing resolution at that meeting. So overall, the recommendation, if you were to accept your advisory committee's recommendations in total, would be $200,000. Thank you to Caleb who was able to provide me with the most updated figure for what the county has received thus far, because as you'll remember, you are receiving the opioid settlement funds over 18 years, so you have not got all of the money yet. Plus, there's been some fluctuations, of course, because you've spent some of that money, and it is also in an interest-bearing account, and all of that money gets reinvested back into the fund. So that's why it does fluctuate each year. So as of right now, you could spend up to $799,000, or $799,492, and you've got 48 cents left. So just under $800,000 approximately. That is obviously more than double what the requests were for this year. So the county is not in a situation at this point in time where you need to be concerned about spending all of the money. But as a reminder, I can always provide you the your payout total, or over those 18 years total. It does trickle down though over time, so you've received the bulk of the payments already. So that's just something to keep in mind, that while $800,000 is a decent chunk of money right now, and obviously way more than what the request is, at some point it will start trickling down quite a bit, in terms of, unless there are additional settlements that come out, of course. So with that, I will dive into it. I just am going to present these to you in alphabetical order by organization name, no favoritism of any kind in my presentation here. And I also did make a note in my memo to you that, of course, this is my summary of the applications. I didn't want you guys to have to read any 10-page long summaries of programs and things like that. So Broken Wheel Ministries is requesting $35,000. Your advisory committee is recommending to fund them in full for the full $35,000. A lot of you probably know Brian Towler, who is the president of and runs Broken Wheel Ministries. He is really interested in shifting the program more towards the youth mentorship, which has really been his goal since the beginning, but he wanted to make sure that he was doing it in the right way, had the right partnership set up. And so this year, even though this will be his second year of funding, he is shifting more towards the youth mentorship part of his programming. There will, of course, still be the employment-related services, so there's a lot of workforce development components that go along with this, but he is focusing that workforce development moving forward, hopefully in the future, with high school students. $15,000 of his request, of course, is for staff salaries. He has a mechanic. He's hoping to bring on some additional administrative assistants, and then $20,000 of that is for equipment. Now, he did also have a sizable budget for equipment last year, but it's a different type of equipment. He's now this upcoming year going to be investing in OSHA-approved safety equipment. Since he is dealing with high school students, he wants to bump up the safety protocols in his shop before he brings in any students to start working in there. So that is, basic things. I've got a whole list of things that would be included in that. I did provide some information in terms of how many people he assisted last year. If you want, I'll go ahead and just roll into these unless you want me to pause for questions. Okay. Of course, Freedom Life Avery is next. You're very familiar with Freedom Life and their organization here. They are requesting $50,000, and your advisory committee is recommending that full $50,000 in funding. They are continuing to expand their programming. Of course, I'm sure most of you know Melena and Jeremy that work here in Avery, just down the road. And then I saw many of you, and I'm sure that those of you that couldn't be there have heard about the groundbreaking of their new men's reentry transition house right off Prison Camp Road. It's a really exciting advancement. They're continuing to make really great strides here in Avery County. They've continued to provide all of the reporting. They ask everything that we request, or they give everything that we request of them. And they've been really solid organization to work with since the very beginning. They were one of the organizations that received funding the very first year. High Country Community Health is the other organization that has received funding since the first year that the county offered it. They're requesting $50,000, and your advisory committee is recommending 50%, so a $25,000 recommendation for High Country Community Health. The bulk of their expenses, of course, I gave you the total, a little over $44,000 there, is on salaries and benefits for their behavioral health therapist. Chris Soto, that has taken over the program since they had somebody else that was in that role for several years. They had a transition last year, and Chris has taken the helm of that role. I'm very encouraged. She has started to attend our drug crisis roundtable meetings, and she was also on the planning committee that helped plan the public input meeting that was held in February down at the library. I guess I will make note, one change for High Country Community Health is that in the past they have, in terms of their actual strategy selection, have always selected evidence-based addiction treatment as well as naloxone distribution. That there's a change this upcoming year, and while that may be presented as a decrease in services, it actually is a better use of their fiscal resources because they're able to get naloxone and many of those other harm reduction supplies at no cost from a new state program that's been ramping up in the last year or two. So if you do have any questions about that, they by no means have decreased services on that front. They're just no longer going to be allocating a specific part of their budget for it because they're able to get it from other sources for less money. Marjorie Williams Academy is requesting $55,000, and your advisory committee is recommending $25,000 of that request. A lot of this, Williams Academy, of course, has received funding in the past for 2 years. They did a pilot year, which went really well. They offered that program up to students in, I believe it was 3rd and 4th grade that first year. Last year, they received an additional $10,000. Were able to expand the program to K-6. They did have a couple grade levels where students actually tested, their scores were higher. So that's actually a great thing that they didn't have any students in 2 grade levels that qualified for the program, but it was open to all students in elementary. Much of their program is continuing than what they've built on the last couple years, and they will continue to provide those services for those students. Mediation and Restorative Justice Center is requesting $50,000, and your advisory committee is recommending $40,000. A big chunk of their $50,000 request is for salaries for both their peer support specialist as well as their executive director for management and grant oversight, financial oversight. And then they've got a small portion of their budget for supplies and things like that. Once again, MRJC is able to take advantage of the same state programs for a lot of the Narcan and any other harm reduction supplies. And so that's why, if you're wondering why only $6,000 of that $50,000 request is in supplies and resources, it's because they've been able to supplement those sources elsewhere in recent years, and then have been investing that money elsewhere. With that, the last organization for you is Western Youth Network, requesting $25,000, and your advisory committee is recommending to fund them in full for the $25,000. They are continuing, or proposing to continue their alternative to suspension program. This is a program that is run out of the high school and is open to students that are facing a suspension or a disciplinary action at school because they've been caught using some sort of substance, and whether or not that is vaping, if that is like chewing tobacco, if that is marijuana or something else, it's any substance of any kind that they're facing suspension for. They can choose, rather than to serve that suspension, to instead go through an educational program where they develop a cohort of other students. It's a 4-week program that they go through where they of course learn about the challenges of the substance, the bad things that happen by using those things, but then also how to address things like peer pressure when all of your friends are doing the same thing. Maybe your home life is influencing you to do those. And there's been a lot of really great feedback from Western Youth Network and their participants after the first year of funding for them. I did put that in there. Were able to provide 6 cohorts throughout the school year. They did align with the school year, so of course there were some delays for snow days and holidays and things like that. But they were able to complete 6 cohorts serving 29 unduplicated students. And by that means that there were several students that chose to participate more than once. No matter what it is, quitting anything, a substance, quitting gambling, your caffeine in the morning. Sometimes it takes more than one time. And the repetition and the reiteration go a long way, especially for youth. And so 2 changes that Western Youth Network addressed with the school system in the first year was that when they first approached the school, this was only going to be available for students that were facing a suspension. Western Youth Network quickly recognized that there may be some students that want to participate, and so they will therefore face a suspension in order to participate. And then there may be other families or parents that are concerned about their youth, that they want to participate in this program because they see them heading down a road that they don't want to head down, but they don't want them to have to face a suspension first in order to participate. So that was the first change that they addressed with the school system, and the second was allowing students to take this as many times as they want, and basically just to voluntarily opt in if they so choose. Really great feedback. Western Youth Network has seemed to do a really great job. They've started participating in the last year in our drug crisis roundtable meetings, consistently sending more than one staff member, have been really actively involved in our additional committees and things like that too. They've been, really great to work with after this first year. So I will pause there and see if you have any specific questions for any of the organizations, funding recommendations. I can repeat any of the numbers I gave to you if you'd like. Okay. Real quick, couple next steps for you guys, just so you know where we're going. If at any point you need additional information to help inform your decision whether or not you will accept your advisory committee's recommendations, please let me know as soon as possible and I will get that information for you. I mentioned at the beginning, hopefully you will be scheduling a second special commissioners meeting sometime later in June. If so, I will be there, hopefully with an official authorizing resolution, unless I've heard any concerns or questions from you. At that point in time, it will be ready to be signed. Right away, the next day, we will hopefully get the memorandums of agreement out to all of the organizations. I will, between now and then, be sending your county attorney those to review, should you accept your committee's recommendations. And the only other point that I will make is that I think your committee really took to heart the sustainability aspect of this funding and the fact that you're not going to be getting all of this forever. And so that's why some really tough decisions were made in terms of what they're recommending funding for. And so any organization that was recommended to receive less funding than what they requested is by no means a reflection on that organization or the quality of the work that they're doing, but came down to either a cost-benefit analysis, came down to an organization size or budget question, and then just some really tough decisions in the end to try to meet that somewhere in the realm of $150,000 to $200,000 per year estimate that would get you to a sustainable number to maintain funding for your full 18 years. Do you have any questions?
I'm glad the committee asked the hard questions so we wouldn't have to. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. You're very welcome. I'm glad that I'm not a voting member of the committee. We appreciate all of their services. My contact information is at the end of the memo for you if you have any questions. It's been a pleasure, and I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, let's move on to 3.3C, subdivision approval to reserve at 1911.
You get this flat full of plats, Allison dumped on me. Good evening, board. So I am presenting, 3 different plats for the Reserve 1911 subdivision for final approval. These have been through and met all the requirements and have been through the Avery County Planning Board and was approved for final approval in those. The reason we have 3 individual plats is the way this ties to the main core of the property. It's kind of in 3 different sections, so we had to put them on 3 different plats. So there's not a different, per se, community or different layout. It's just how they set to get them on the plats correctly. So, any questions on those?
Anybody have any question on any of those? Hello? Can we approve all at one time? The whole, okay. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, I'll need to get 3 signatures
All right.
right quick.
You're dealing with crib. Be careful. I'm handicapped. No, it's all out here. On the corner. So we go on computers.
Yeah, she's got.
Okay, good. Is there on that one? Okay. Get in there with close. Can't reach the line. Yeah. We get to keep the paint.
Thank you, board.
Thank you. Wanda, can you do it 6 minutes?
Yes.
Your turn. Tax man, first quick responder, purposes.
Please approve my collections for the month of May of $159,856.33.
Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And just as a side note, Crystal and Diane have been actually actively calling people and sending more letters. And so our collection rate now is at 98.7. So we've come up a long way since February. Please approve my releases of 8/19/02.
Need a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And just a side note on that one, these are releases, I know people hear this, and I know you all know this, but releases are corrections or rebills for something. And if I were to release something that I wasn't supposed to, then that makes me liable to pay for it. And so just know that when I do these releases, I don't do them lightly. And then our sales for the month of May, we had 51 sales, we're at 65%. Last year, we had 46 sales, and we were at 63%. And I think that's all I have.
Okay.
Any
Any
questions?
questions for you? All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate you. Still got 4 minutes.
I think we can do this Grandfather Mountain Highland Games
Okay.
agreements.
Move to 3.3D, Grandfather Mountain Highland Games agreements between EMS and Avery Transportation.
So there's 2 agreements in here, one's for EMS and one's for transportation. In there, we had a little trouble with our scanner, so there's some extra pages that was right in there that wasn't supposed to be. But the Highland, the transportation, we've done this every year for the past several years. And we just need a motion to approve both of those agreements.
Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We got- We'll go to 3.3E, resolution approving conveyance of property to a nonprofit organization.
So Crossmore Fire Department had approached us about 2 of the transportation vans that we had that they would like to have. So we have a resolution here. Does that have a dollar in it? No, it's just a transfer to them. So they can.
Surplus first.
Right. So it's surplus and then transferring that to them. To them, transportation.
Need a motion to approve. Any questions?
They are in that resolution.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one. 3.3F, resolution regarding the Avery County Technology and Cybersecurity Policy and Procedures.
So we had, last month, we tabled this for Michelle to look at it a little more, and I think we've taken care of everything, so there's a resolution there to adopt these policy and procedures for technology and cybersecurity.
Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, got
Okay.
2 minutes. You want to, yeah, you want to recess for 2 minutes?
Okay, we're going to recess for 2 minutes. Back in the session, thank you. And let's move to 3.2E, public hearing for year budget 2026 and 2027. I need a motion to add a regular session and end the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
You and Taylor?
yep. Okay.
All right.
All right, this is the budget message for the fiscal year 26-27. In accordance with North Carolina General Statute 159-11, the Avery County fiscal year 26-27 proposed budget is respectfully submitted for your review and consideration. This document provides the financial framework for the programs and services which Avery County government will be undertaking in the next fiscal year. The budget provides the resources needed to ensure the delivery of governmental services in a fiscally responsible manner. The proposed budget is a continuation of the financially sound and conservative practices Avery County government has established and embraced. North Carolina General Statute 159-11 stipulates that a public hearing be held in order to inform the public and allow any interested citizens the opportunity to express their opinions on the budget after the budget message is presented. The board held budget workshops in order to make changes to the proposed budget. This budget message represents an explanation of the budgetary decisions derived as a result of in-depth dialogue between the interim county manager, finance officer, and department heads and changes made during budget workshops. The cumulative total of necessary operational and capital expenses considered in light of revenues generated by the departments combined with state and federal funding determines the amount of funding which would be necessary from the citizens of Avery County. The 26-27 budget as presented is balanced based on a total property valuation of $6.699 billion. This represents an increase of $243,404,114, or 3.77% over last year's valuation of $6.455 billion. The general fund tax rate will remain at 33.5 cents per 100 valuation, which will generate an estimated $21.87 million in revenues. The countywide fire tax will remain at 6.5 cents. The Fire Commission and volunteer fire departments will receive an estimated $4.2 million in revenue. The combination of these two rates results in an overall tax rate of 40 cents for the 26-27 fiscal year. This rate remains to be a decrease from the revenue neutral tax rate and a 15-cent decrease from the 21-22 fiscal year. Tropical Storm Helene, current inflation, and economic conditions have placed a burden on Avery County's working families and has made balancing the county's budget difficult. Overall expenses are projected to increase 1.54% from the 25-26 budget. In order to keep the tax rate at the current rate and balance the budget, it is necessary to appropriate $3.6 million from the fund balance, as has been the practice during other times of economic uncertainty. The Avery County Commissioners have pledged to keep the ad valorem tax rate the same in the 26-27 fiscal year. Expenses. The total general fund budget is set at $42.4 million. This is a 1.54% increase from the 25-26 fiscal year. This increase is largely due to the rising cost of health insurance for county employees, increased employer contribution rates required by the state retirement system, and a cost of living adjustment for employees to help offset the impact of continued inflation. General government is increasing $94,250. The increase is primarily attributed to an increase in contracted services. Public safety is increasing $832,033. The increase includes an ambulance, 3 sheriff vehicles, and 2 additional positions to address critical safety needs. Transportation is decreasing $19,615. The decrease is due to a decrease in capital needs. Environmental protection increased $200,339, primarily due cost of solid waste disposal. Economic and Physical Development is decreasing $12,344. The Economic Development Committee plans to advertise with the Chamber of Commerce. The county is also becoming a member of a regional economic development organization. Funding for human services is increasing $145,158. The increase is primarily due to increase in funding for the Toe River Health District. Cultural and recreation is increasing $43,226. The primary reason is due to additional funding for the Avery Morrison Library. Plans for a new recreation center continue. Funding for the Mountain Alliance Youth Program, Avery County Fair, Little League, North Carolina Rush Soccer, Oasis, and others are all addressed in this budget. Also budgeted is the Animal Services contract with Mitchell County Animal Rescue. Education is locally budgeted at $7,224,285, a decrease of $693,951. Funding for Malin Community College increased by $23,049. The operational funding request from the Avery County Schools was fully funded, and a capital planning committee is currently being formed to address additional capital needs throughout the year. The county still continues to fund the free pre-K program in Avery County Schools. In addition, there is a semi-annual budgeted debt payment for the Avery High School of $950,000. Student population has decreased from 1,694 students to 1,615 for the 26-27 school year. Over the last 7 years, student population has decreased 357 students. The Avery County Schools operational local funds budget is $5,970,000. With the yearly capital and high school debt service, the total local tax dollars for Avery County Schools committed in 26-27 is $7,670,000, or 24.83% of ad valorem and local option sales tax revenues. When divided by the estimated student population, that's $4,749.23 per student. Of the total budgeted expenditures, public safety is the largest, consuming 35% of the total budget. Education and the associated debt service is the next largest expenditure at 19%. Human services is third at 18%, while all other county functions total 28%. Revenues. Property tax revenue is projected to increase $900,000 or 4.29% from last fiscal year. Local option sales taxes are projected to increase $300,266. Other taxes and licenses are projected to only increase $30,000 due to a projected slowdown in real estate sales. Intergovernmental revenues are projected to decrease $172,797. Licenses and permits are projected to increase $9,000 over last fiscal year. Sales and services are projected to decrease $114,500, primarily due to a decrease in grant funding for transportation. Investment earnings and other income are projected to be the same as last year. Property tax revenue will generate 51% of the county's revenue, followed by sales tax at 21%, intergovernmental at 8%, sales and services at 6%, fund balance appropriation at 8%, and all others at 6%. The fire tax fund budget for the 26-27 fiscal year is $4.2 million, or $147,000 more than last fiscal year. The E911 fund budget for fiscal year 26-27 is $155,740. This is a decrease of $64,410 from the prior fiscal year. The reevaluation fund budget is $200,222 for the fiscal year 26-27. Avery County budgets annually for the mandatory reevaluation. It should be noted that the county performs an in-house reevaluation using existing staff as opposed to contracting this service out. Avery County is proud to report that the county fund balance exceeds the state requirements. This amount has provided the needed financial stability during the current recovery facing our county. Over the past several years, Avery County has developed and adhered to a financial plan designed to promote a pay-as-you-go capital philosophy. As a result of this philosophy, the county has funded and completed the new Riverside EMS Bay/E911 Backup Center, the Agriculture Center, the Avery Community Center, the County Recreation Pool, the kitchen and HVAC renovation at the high school, the new DSS building, and the new probation office. As a result of proper capital planning, the use of lottery funds, state budget grants, and the use of some fund balance, Avery County has been able to avoid any tax rate increase for the construction of any of these capital projects. Current major capital projects are currently paused while recovery efforts are ongoing. With funding from the state budget grants, Avery County Fire Commission is currently working on the renovation and repair of the Elk Park Fire Department. The attached 26-27 fiscal year budget ordinance for Avery County contains the detailed breakdown of anticipated revenues and expenses for the year to end June 30th, 2027. This ordinance is respectfully presented for adoption this first day of June 2026.
Any public comment, Mr. Barry? Would you like to come up, please?
Good afternoon, Board. So I'm one of those citizens that can make a public comment. And I just want to say how thankful we as citizens of this fine county should be that we live in a county that grew, I believe, 3.77%, when the rest of our nation is not seeing this. Well done. Thankful, and thank you, Board of Commissioners, admin team, Cindy, Caleb, Don. You knocked it out of the park, leaving a tax rate at 40 cents, fire and regular tax. Administration, you're the best. Department heads, I know they're the best. The employees, I know they're the best. So I just wanted to say thank you as a citizen of Avery County. Job well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barry.
Anybody else? Want to give public comment on the budget? Any of the board? A word? Well, I'd just like to say thank you to we do this every year, but we do have the best team ever. Caleb and Dawn and Cindy, they've worked exceptionally hard, and this Board of Commissioners have worked exceptionally hard to have budget workshops and try to do the best we could for the citizens. And I'm proud, like to say, that to keep the tax rate at 40 cents on the dollar after a disastrous Hurricane Helene is kudos to everybody.
Yeah.
I will say, when we approach the budget, we do so from the standpoint of not what we would like to have, but what do we need in order to perform the functions of the county. And we approach it based on the revenue side of what revenue are we looking at and how can we fit what we need into those revenue projections. And this is the only way that this works long term. We are connected and talking with many other counties across the state, and there's a lot of very difficult meetings being held in some other counties when they present their budget this year. And I am frankly proud of this budget and the numbers that we came up with. And there was a huge increase in our insurance costs of about 25%, which really caused us to, it probably would have been below last year's numbers had it not been for that. So I think it's a job well done from administration and all the departments realizing that we're in a financial situation that we have to be frugal and we have to be aware of what's going on around us. And we're still in the midst of recovery. And there's a lot of things that's going to be happening this year as we move forward. But I think this is a very positive step that we're taking to just come back stronger than we've ever been.
Anybody else?
Caleb is the one that does the magic, but
I know, he works his
Me
magic.
and Cindy make a good team.
He works his magic.
he works his magic.
He does. Well, if nobody else need a motion to approve the,
No,
no?
we need to go out public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Need a motion to go out of public hearing and back into regular session, so we can do that.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now,
Now,
I need a motion to approve the 26-27 year budget.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Okay. We can move to 3.4A, County Manager Report with County Manager Updates.
okay. Quite hot now. We have received a $150,000 shelter trailer grant. We have received both of those trailers now. They are equipped with everything that you can possibly imagine in those two trailers. They even come with 2 generators. The DSS employees have completed their shelter training. So as soon as we can get everything organized in these 2 trailers, we're gonna do a mock drill with the DSS employees so that they can just go through on how they set up the shelter and, sorry, my mom's calling me. Sorry, Mom. And how they set up the trailers and everything to get ready for a disaster. We've completed one cybersecurity grant and we received another cybersecurity grant. So we are beginning to order some different equipment for that. We had last month on our senior center grant, we had approved all of those policies and plans. We have now gotten approval letters back from the State Historic Preservation Office for this grant and the Tribal Historic Preservation Office, so we've got that taken care of. I just got word, right when the meeting started, that we had applied for a $200,000 community paramedicine grant. We've been preliminarily approved for that, and they need a little bit more information, but that's great. Our Green Valley Park, we have, I think 3 of them so far has ranked these RFQs, so just as soon as we get the rest of you 2 to rank those, then we'll be ready to proceed with that project. We have applied for an emergency management grant that is more of these big informational signs. 2 of those signs would have AM radio on them that you could tune to that radio station, and it would give you updates and things like that. And then there would be 6 other informational signs. We haven't heard from that grant yet. We're hoping to hear from it in the next month or 2. We did apply for a DEQ grant to get a grinder, and it was $544,000, but a grinder is way more than that. So we had to go back and redo our scope of work. We have found a grinder that will grind 21-inch logs. So we have changed it to that grinder, a concrete pad for that grinder, 8 40-yard containers, a mini excavator, and attachments. We were waiting for approval on that. They're supposed to do the announcement yesterday, and we got tomorrow, we got an email saying that we should be there, so hopefully we're gonna get that grant. The Elk Park Fire Department grant, that was set to expire June the 30th, 2026. And we have been granted a 1-year extension on that state budget grant. And Brian Ledford says that project should be completed by October 2026. For our admin building and senior center, we submitted the general numbers for the contractor to FEMA. And we're working through that process right now. That is, both of those are relocation and replacement. We are waiting on a letter from FEMA to give us confirmation. Didn't want to do anything until we got that in writing. Beach Mountain Tower, we have moved from our previous tower to a tower at Ski Beach. We're up and running. The antennas are temporarily on a pole that we have there now. We are going to do a smaller tower a little bit later, but we are up and running, and the reception is a lot better so far. They're still tweaking things, but we have gotten that. And then Grandmother Tower, I've had a couple of meetings with different people on Grandmother Tower. Our antenna is very low there, and so we talked with UNCTV, and we have to do a tower study, but they think that we can move that up and get us better reception in Linville and Ewan area. They're working on a MOU with us right now, a lease. So we hope to hear, will be, our radio company, Land Air, looked at it on Friday, so Jeffrey is supposed to be contacting the tower study to people to come and look at that. EWP, we're still waiting on our approval. It has to go to district office, Raleigh office, and then to Washington, D.C. We're still waiting on that. FEMA debris, so like week before last, we received $23 million from our $32 million project. It's a 75% reimbursement. And so far, we have received 75% of the 4 debris projects, the reimbursement for those. We about, I don't know, has it been about a month ago that we toured the Burke and Collier County animal shelters? We have a meeting set up with Lindsay Harris with the Department of Ag tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And there was 3 commissioners, so that is a special meeting. That was noticed as a special meeting because there was 3 audience that wanted to talk about that. Thanks to Dudley and Ralph, we have gotten the money reallocated for the jewel shelter, and we're dividing it between Mitchell and Avery. I think this is approximately $800,000. Is that what you got from that? So we did get confirmation from the Office of State Budget on what we need to do. We have to have scope of work. We'll send in that scope of work to get that money. HMPG, we are in the process of our first phase on the HMPG, the individual assistance, and we are at the contract team. So once the contract team has reviewed all of that, those will be posted for bid, and I think there's 9 of them in the first phase. Let's see. And our first meeting of the Capital Needs School Committee will be Wednesday, this Wednesday at 4 o'clock. So it's Tim, Caleb, and me. And then there's representatives from the school. And so our first meeting will be at 4 o'clock on Wednesday.
Is that
And
all?
that's it.
Wow, I thought you came back.
That's a little
A
long.
little lengthy there, wasn't it? No, that's good, thank you. So we'll move to 3.4B, Finance Officer, Mr. Caleb Hogan.
All right, good afternoon, Board. Thank you to Michelle for all the work she's put into this. There's a lot of contract approval and resolutions and ordinances, so thank you, Michelle, for helping me with that. Item number 1, the Department of Emergency Management has received a cybersecurity grant for $190,054 from the North Carolina Department of Public Safety that will fund various IT infrastructure improvements for the county. Request the Board to accept the grant and approve the following budget amendment to debit EM grants $190,054 and credit EM grant revenue $190,054. And I just make a mention, I know this is June 1st and this is not going to get here by June 30th, but this will allow Dennis to put in the order for some of this equipment, and then I'll do another budget amendment in next year's budget to move this funding forward. But this will give us a little more time to get everything ordered. And prices are fluctuating very rapidly on some of this server IT equipment, so we want to get locked in on a price.
Need a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 2, the Avery County Museum has received a grant from America 250 for $10,000 for the purchase of 2 wayside markers. Request the Board to accept the grant and approve the following budget amendment to debit museum $10,000 and credit museum grant $10,000.
Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 3 is a resolution authorizing the release of lottery funds pursuant to Chapter 18C and Chapter 115C of the North Carolina General Statutes. This is for $19,203.25, and it is for IT-related expenditures. Request the Board to approve the resolution as presented.
Need a motion to approve.
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 4 is the budget amendment tied to that resolution. The Avery County Board of Commissioners, in a commitment to providing the most adequate facilities for students of Avery County, has previously authorized funds from the North Carolina Lottery Funds for the replacement of a system-wide computer server. Request the Board to adopt the following budget amendment to debit Avery County Schools capital outlay $19,203.25 and credit proceeds from lottery funds $19,203.25.
Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 5, the Department of Parks and Recreation has encountered repairs that need to be made to the plumbing and heater at the Avery County Dive-In. Request the Board to approve the following budget amendment to debit capital outlay $5,896 and credit fund balance appropriated $5,896.
Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 6, the debris removal project ordinance needs to be amended to reflect actual numbers. Request the Board to approve the following budget amendment to debit right-of-way debris removal $10,093,411.59, to debit right-of-way debris monitoring $810,479.80, to credit right-of-way personal private property debris removal $1,304,550, credit personal property debris, right-of-way debris monitoring, $372,699.20. To debit waterway debris removal, $22,406,151.05. To credit waterways debris monitoring, $4,135,819.10. And to credit debris removal project revenue, $27,496,974.14.
Need a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Item number 7 is a resolution, and let me go ahead and preface these resolutions. We received some state grant funding from the Office of State Budget Management, and these funds that we received have to be kept in their own funding category and tracked. Any interest has to be kept with the funds. Some of these are not large amounts of funds, and at some point, at the board's direction, there'll be additional funds added to it, as these funds will not necessarily complete the projects, but in order to satisfy the reporting requirements, I need to establish these funds. So resolution to establish and maintain a project ordinance for the repair to Schultz Circle Park due to Hurricane Helene. And this is recognizing $7,857.94 of state grant funding. Request the board to approve the resolution as presented before you.
Need a motion to approve the resolution.
Move to accept the resolution.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 8 is a resolution to establish and maintain a project ordinance for the repair to the baseball fields due to Hurricane Helene. This is state grant funding of $21,896.25. Request the board to approve this resolution.
Need a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 9 is a resolution to establish and maintain a project ordinance for the repair to the Green Valley Community Center due to Hurricane Helene. These funds is from the state grant in the amount of $970,506.45. Request the board to approve this resolution.
Need a motion to approve the resolution. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 10, resolution to establish and maintain a project ordinance for the repair to the administrative building due to Hurricane Helene. And these are funds allocated from the state in the amount of $23,310.18. Request the board to approve.
Need a motion to approve the resolution. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 11, resolution to establish and maintain a project ordinance for the repair to the West Brewer Communications Tower due to Hurricane Helene. These funds total from the state $856,521.43. Request the board to approve the resolution.
Need a motion to approve the resolution. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 12 is the contract agreement for the new auditor, Thompson Price Scott Adams and Co. PA. Michelle has reviewed the contract, and I request the board to.
I have a question.
Yes.
What about the fire commission?
Yes, the fire commission is included in the contract.
Okay. So did you get an email confirming that?
That's some bookkeeping. I do not have an email confirming that, but that was part of the RFP response. And
Okay, because the way I read the contract, I wasn't sure if you could clarify or not, whether or not it covered more than one entity.
okay, I can get clarification on that. And could they approve the contract if that is
I
clarified?
guess they could approve the agreement contingent upon the inclusion of the fire commission.
Okay.
I would move that we approve this contingent on the inclusion of the fire commission in that audit.
Okay.
Need a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'll get that clarified and send it to you, and then for Tim to sign if it's within the contract.
All you got?
If I may ask, those project ordinances that we just set up, that will be the vehicle that all of the funds will move through from this point forward
Yes.
within that same project ordinance for those particular projects. Am I correct?
Yes, yes. We'll amend those project ordinances as we get further along in some of the stages of these projects to add additional funding, whether it be grant funding or fund balance appropriation.
I know
What
so all
about the
good.
insurance money? Would that be different?
The insurance money, so some of that will end up being fund balance where it rolled into at the end of the fiscal year. Some of that insurance money we received last fiscal year, it'll end up being a fund balance appropriation out of the insurance reimbursement money.
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
We'll move to 3.4C, County Attorney Report, Ms. Michelle Ford.
As the board may recall, last month we had approval of a non-warranty deed to Weblar LLC. In further discussions with the attorneys for Weblar, we requested that the county sign a special warranty deed in that matter. I have prepared this and I don't have any reason not to do that, so it's on for board approval.
Need a motion to approve the warranty deed.
Special warranty deed.
Special warranty deed.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that's all I
Anything
have.
else? Okay, thank you. Move on to, 3.5, staff reports and requests, Mayor. 3.6, closed session.
I don't have anything.
3.7, approval of minutes from May 4th, 2026. Need a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'll go to 3.8, agenda consent items. Any questions on any of those? If not, they will be approved by consent. We will move to, Colonel Savage. Yeah. 3.9, informational items. Anything that we need to address there, Cindy? Okay. Okay. Move 3.10, upcoming meetings. I think the next one is July the 6th.
Right, we need a
Special meeting in June.
in June,
Yeah.
just to do our end of the year
Not yet.
things that we need to do.
Okay.
We can look at, I know that, you have a meeting on the third Monday, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Caleb, how close to the end of the month do you need this, or?
It'd be nice if it was probably that late third week or,
Can we do the 22nd?
yeah,
That,
yeah.
what does that look like for everybody? The 22nd at 6 o'clock. That's on Monday.
Works for me.
Okay.
I ain't here, so.
All right, discuss.
Twenty-second
Okay.
at 6
All
o'clock.
right. June the 22nd, 6 o'clock. All right, is that good?
Yep.
3.11 is adjourned, so I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, we're adjourned.